Dr. Martin, many engineers, particularly those in aerospace, have found themselves virtually jobless now that the industry has terminated many positions. Is attention being given to a different kind of preparation in the future to ensure that specialization doesn't lead to this kind of dilemma?
Well, I want to answer. It's difficult to answer your question simply because there's a certain presumption there that maybe isn't justifiable. First off, there are not large numbers of unemployed aerospace engineers. That's number one. Perhaps we can explore that in some detail later. But in terms of the educational requirements, there are really two avenues that are being followed to improve the educational capabilities of engineers. One, in college, the engineering student takes a very generalized education. It is not specialized at all. And he is able to enter a wide variety of occupations in addition to engineering. For example, it's an excellent program for pre-law or pre-medicine. But he also can serve in a wide range of jobs in industry, so it is not specialized. That's another common public misunderstanding. And then secondly, once the engineer is in industry, he tends, particularly when he's young, to get assigned to a fairly specialized job, and therefore he begins to develop his skills in a fairly narrow specialty. However, particularly here in Dallas, he has the opportunity to go to school, to learn other fields of engineering right while he's working at the job. We have a television system called the KERA TV system, which provides graduate level courses for engineers in all the major plants in the area. And we have had as many as 1,000 and more students enrolled at one time taking courses to improve their knowledge in areas that they're not currently active in. So through this mechanism, the engineer can consistently update himself and improve his knowledge in other areas so that as the requirements of his company changes, he can change with those requirements and should not therefore be as likely to be unemployed as one who insists upon staying in his narrow specialty.
You mentioned that it was inaccurate to assume that a significant number of engineers are unemployed.
Mm-hmm.
Would you expand on that, please?
Well, when you start talking numbers, you have to say compared to what. Now, we're talking about the number of engineers that are unemployed compared to 5 years ago. Yes, there are many more engineers unemployed today than then. But if you're comparing the number of unemployed engineers with the number of unemployed political scientists or psychologists or French teachers, then there's very little unemployment among engineers.
Why are engineers having difficulty finding employment now that the aerospace industry has terminated many positions?
Well, the truth is they're not having too much trouble finding jobs. For example, last year, in June of '72 at SMU, we graduated about 80 bachelor's degrees in engineering, about 170 master's degrees, and 42 PhDs. All of those students got jobs, very good jobs. Now, who is having trouble?
All right.
There is a group that is having trouble, and this generally seems to have three main categories of people. First, people who did not have degrees in engineering originally, but who, for one reason or another, were given the job title engineer. Secondly, non-citizens. We've had a large component of the engineering workforce in the United States that are not American citizens. And third, people over 55 years old who have not kept up technically. Now, this is the largest group of people who are unemployed. Now, I'm not making a value judgment that I don't feel very badly about them, but the unemployment in this group, which is still less than the same group in any other profession, has captured the headlines, and it has managed to convey to the public and to potential students the idea that engineering unemployment is very high. As a result, engineering enrollments in engineering schools the country over has dropped just catastrophically. For some reason, the engineering profession has been singled out for all of the examples of the people who have been terribly dislocated by the tremendous changes that have gone on in this country in the past 2 or 3 years. The fact is, everyone has been dislocated and lots of people have been out of work in all categories.